Here we go. Okay. All right. Start. Welcome. Thank you very much for coming along. Bit of a training session today. This is going to be interactive, I guess. So feel free to ask questions, talk, do whatever you want. Okay. It's open, so it's not just me talking. If you're stuck or you want to ask a question, please feel free. There's no stupid questions. There's no dumb answers except for the ones that I give. Right?
Not financial advice.
No, this is not financial advice. We're all degenerate gamblers, right? But okay, but what we're going to talk about? Let's talk about the DAX. Let's talk about news release. We'll also talk about, I guess, behavior and psychology.
And
That's
adapting because the volatility has increased a lot the last
adaptation.
week or so. 20 points is like nothing now.
Correct, right? So stop losses should be at like 20 to 25 points.
Even 30, I think, depending.
Okay, sure. All right, so let's just get started, all right? I saw, Grogs, that you took a long on this breakout up here. Is that right?
It was a bit earlier.
No, there's a double bottom. When it bounced off that trend line,
Yeah, just give me one.
Formed
I've got no.
double bottom.
Up here?
Yeah.
So you went long up here?
No, I let the double bottom play out.
Oh, okay, right. But
That's
this
that
was,
double bottom,
but there
yeah.
was it was based on this trend line in here, right?
Yeah,
Did you have
but
that
the
trend?
double bottom was also coming off the 15-minute 200. I was
Okay.
looking for 20 points out of it.
Here, yes.
Yep.
Fair enough. And you threw in the towel then, obviously because it was late, right?
Yeah, and I'd already made money earlier.
Okay, so
I
you
was like, yeah, I was happy.
you're okay. So you're still up for the day, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yep, and that's one of those things. Yeah, it just completely confuses you, right? So it's not like the strategy was there, definitely there. I mean, it's not 100% a double bottom because it hasn't broken that neckline there.
On futures it had.
It did on futures, did it?
I think if
Yeah,
you zoom
so
in
I
a
played the
bit,
pullback.
Yeah, well, hang on. When we're talking about breaking a neckline, right? So let's say that this is a double bottom in here, right?
no, I think he means that C there on the 1 minute.
Oh, this okay on the
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah.
You're
Have a
talking.
look at the screenshot I put in the chat.
Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. That's all.
You're right.
Just doing, oh,
Down here,
yeah, that's
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a good point, right? So when we're going close to, I mean, it's 8 o'clock at night. That's kind of a head and shoulders in there, a little bit. It's fair enough. So there's the double bottom. It's broken the neckline here. You've taken long there on the break of VWAP.
No, there's no. When it pulls back, if you have a look at my screenshot, you'll see there's a trend line with the fib. There's a bunch of convergence where I tried to take it.
Hey, just give me a
Like
sec.
yeah, just have a look at the screenshot. It's all there.
Okay, yeah. Is that it? Yes.
Yep. So that was the
You
idea.
came in
prior,
here.
and then
Oh, you came in for the pullback onto the trend line. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a bad idea. That's fair enough. You took you went long here.
hmm
All right.
I was
Mate,
actually
it's just-
short for that move.
Yeah. So this is a thing that it was kind of a little bit of a theme for last week was how do we rank technical analysis, okay? Anything on a 4-hour chart has got a higher ranking than a 1 minute chart, right? And we can see that it's hit the trend line here on the 4-hour chart. That's going to always rank way higher than a double bottom or anything that's long on the 1 minute or 5 minute. Yep. So, and this is why I always say to everybody, it's like, always start on your 4 hour. If there's SR on your 4 hour, trend lines, whatever it might be, even this, look at this 200 MA here, right? You tried to push it on Thursday and then it went straight back up, right? Anything on like the much bigger time frame is going to rank way higher than something on a smaller time frame because the big boys play on the big time frames, right? All right. Let's have a look at some other trades. Where's all my pricing? Give me 1 sec, guys. There we go. Got it. Don't need that. Beautiful HS. HNS. Did everybody see that HNS on Thursday? This one. So if we go down to 1 minute. Yeah. Everybody see that one? That's awesome. Right in the middle. All right, so let's talk about, I guess, the news. Calendar, we had interest rates come out. Everybody know that understand why the market moves so heavily based on the interest rate release. Everybody understand that?
A little bit.
Yep. What do you mean a little bit?
They put. They want to keep rates on hold, from my understanding, because they're scared.
Well, because inflation actually increased, right?
Yeah, by 0.1.
By 0.1 of a basis, 1 basis point, right? So the interest rates, what it's about is the prediction of when the Fed will start become dovish on interest rates. That's the whole premise to the whole thing, right? So if inflation did decrease, then they would become. You would think that they would become more dovish, right? So it's all factoring, right? But because inflation increased slightly, which it didn't increase by much, it was well within the envelope, like the standard deviation envelope, but it didn't really move at all. Okay, the interest rates has not affected pricing of goods that much, right? The Fed doesn't want to increase again because you're just going to crush the economy completely, right? People can't live. But what it is like they've kicked the can so far down the road now that the Fed becoming dovish on interest rates it's being delayed a lot longer than what we all expect. Okay, we were all expecting interest rates to come off by the end of the year.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening until next year.
Yeah.
Right. So hang on, where are we?
Three stars?
No, mate. Yeah, this week.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
There it was.
Yeah.
There.
All right, so you can see here that it's increased 3.2, 3.5. That's 0.3. 30 basis points. So that's actually increased. So interest rates, even though interest rates have increased, right? Like everybody's paying more for their mortgages, etc. Right? We're still paying more out there, right?
So copying a double whammy.
It's a double whammy. People are struggling all over the world to just pay. for everything. And I'm sure everybody here is feeling it as well, right? Yep. All right, so that's the interest rate. So, but let's have a look at the play on it. Okay, so let's go to Euro USD. If anybody's playing, that the inflation interest rate should be on the Euro USD. Yep. Here it is. There's the ban, right? So if we did have that perspective in mind, that idea, I mean, it did not fit my rules. Okay, I've got fairly strict rules on what we're doing. But if you had that outlook, I guess, that of what I've just spoken about, then yes, it could be not a bad play. Okay, and you can see here that you certainly hit 1:1 eventually. Yep. So let's go over to 15-minute chart. So it's dropped. Okay, so you've definitely got it. Okay, you got the play on it. Okay, did anybody take this? Anybody take this news release trade? Or is everybody just following my rules to the T? Hello?
I'm only on DAX.
You're only on DAX.
Yeah.
You're very conservative. You're only playing VWAP on DAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, most of the time.
Well, I think you should.
All the time.
Well, okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do, right? But just playing VWAP, you're going to be long time between drinks, right?
Yes, but you're still going to get most days at least 2 or 3 trades, or a lot of days.
Okay. How long are you sitting there watching it?
Depends. Like normally within the first hour of trade,
Mm-hmm.
you'll get at least one, because I got the anchor on there as well. Like last night.
Yep.
If you want to go, yeah. Last night I did a long on the anchored, like an hour within the open. And then I tried to go then long on the daily, got stopped then, and then went again short.
Okay, so
And-
based on anchored.
Yes.
Okay, let me just get the anchored
clear
up
of it.
because here's the anchored. Where are we?
4 o'clock.
4 p.m.
Yeah. Which is basically Lorentz, as you can see.
Okay, so the lows. So you went short here.
Yeah, I had that short move down there.
Okay,
I had this long in there.
this one.
Yeah, 23 points.
And I'm
there.
sure Aaron is here.
Yeah, I think
Did you take that long, Aaron?
No, mate, I missed it. I was
Oh.
doing other things.
Okay, all right. If you're dreaming about your Ferrari, cool. No worries. All right. So that there was the perfect play, right? On Loz.
And that was like a 382 or something from there to there. Or...
Yeah. So there's your anchored. I mean, a good lineup on that one.
Yeah.
But so you took that one long.
Yeah, I took that long. Then I tried to go again here on the daily, but that was probably wrong. That was an
This
error.
one.
Nah, on that there. That's to your daily VWAP, I think.
You
Yeah.
went long here.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is a big error.
Very big error,
Yeah.
mate. That's. I mean, because look at the Loz, right? Loz
Yeah.
is on the underside, right?
And those candles are quite bearish.
Very bearish.
Yeah. I think I was also seeing A, B, C, D.
Yeah, but also, did you look at this
Yeah,
over here?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so here we go, guys. Right?
It's what kind of what. happened
You
to Groves
must,
as well.
please, boys, right? Start with your 4 hour, right? If you see a SR level on your 4 hour, if you only look at this and you've got your blinkers on, you're missing out on the big
Yeah.
picture.
Well,
Okay,
Can I add to that?
go.
Is that see that 200 on the 4 hour?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I went on that short when it came rocketing up into the VWAP, and then got stopped on that
Yeah,
day. And then I
this
took,
is on Thursday.
yeah,
Here, yes, here. Oh no, was it
there,
here?
yeah,
Here?
yeah, because it was still basically.
Well, that was this one here. That was this.
Yeah,
here.
well, it was still arguably first touch 200 because it was close enough. Like
First touch 200 here.
yeah, what I'm saying.
Okay, you're taking it too seriously, right? Okay, we're talking about areas. We're not talking
Yeah.
about specific places. This here, this touch here,
Yeah,
is this candle here.
Yeah.
That's close enough.
yeah. That's what I'm
Right.
saying. So you would ignore this VWAP short.
100% you would. Look, I
Yeah.
mean, look, you've got PMI or PPI coming out,
Yeah.
and you've got a big dick candle.
Yeah,
Right.
and then that's why I then went later long here on
Yeah,
the retest, which
perfect.
was a good trade.
Perfect.
But that's 2 errors this week where this probably would have cut them out, and there's 50 points thrown
Correct.
away.
Yeah.
So my break-even week can all of a sudden be
Yeah.
good.
Right. So when you get increased volatility like this, okay, so when you've got a PPI that came out, right?
Mm.
You've got a huge retracement based on the 4-hour chart.
Yeah.
You do not go short off VWAP on that, right?
Yeah, wait and go long.
Wait and go long because it did penetrate and
Yeah.
it did. I mean, if we go down to a 1-minute chart, that's a retest of the VWAP.
Yeah.
Yep. And we've got the 100 level that's sitting there as well, right? See how this went up and then see how long it takes to turn over,
Yeah.
right? It even created
Head and shoulders. Yeah.
what rule number 6 says on Dow theory.
Mm.
A trend state
Definite reason.
stays intact until it gives a definite reversal signal,
Yeah.
right? And that was the HNS right there, right? And then the trade short, well, this is everyone's asleep by this stage, is right there. That's your trade short
Yeah.
there. Yeah, because we've broken fractal low and we've got retest. So fractal low, SR to fractal retest of that SR level. All right, who we got?
Well, I think
Timsy, just mute your mic there, mate.
I've got my pointer for today for the next week or so, which is that pay attention a bit more. Wait to the 4 hour because that's
Yeah,
a
well,
couple of those
yes.
errors this week.
Yeah, correct. I mean, you know what? You're not. It's okay, right? Don't beat yourself up
Yeah.
about. And this is kind of a bit of psychology. Timsy, can you mute your microphone, please, man? Timsy, mute your microphone. Thanks. All right, he's just exited. So. Yeah, I mean, yes. What did you just say?
I was saying about the 4 hour paying a bit more weight to it. Could have avoided a couple errors this
Yes,
week.
correct, right. That's what I was saying, right? Don't beat yourself up about it,
Yeah.
okay? This game, right, typically... Give me 1 sec, guys. Give me 1 sec.
Still dealing with randomness.
Typically in a scenario where you are playing a game and you are... to give yourself confidence that you know whether you're right and wrong, right? You need to play a number of scenarios within that game to give yourself evidence that you're playing the right strategy. Okay. Now, in what we're doing is you will always be wrong. And this is very hard for a human to go, am I really doing the right thing? Right? To prove to yourself that you're actually correct. Okay? Now, we could stare at the charts forever and a day. And we will be wrong many times, okay? Even though you're doing the right thing, you can still be wrong.
Yeah.
which doesn't give you the evidence that you're right. Okay. And this is the most difficult thing about trading, is that you can be correct and actually get it wrong,
Yeah.
right?
And that's where you got to be able to differentiate.
You've
where
got to
pat yourself on the back as opposed
correct,
to beat yourself up.
right? Correct. So, Ed, I saw this tutorial the other day. It's about when you're wrong, you can punish yourself for being wrong, but when you're right, we very rarely pat ourselves on the back, right? Now, for an incorrect trade, we still have to, if we're right, you still have to pat yourself on the back, right? To reinforce the correct move, right? So, and this is where the depressive thing about trading comes in, right? It's like, if you're wrong in a series of trades, even though that you've played the right game, especially when you're on big money, right? When you're on real money, not demo, right? Demo, nobody cares about demo, right? It's easy just to punch away.
$500, $1,000 a hand, you know.
Correct.
And you're down 5-10
Correct.
grand
Correct.
in a week.
Well, yeah, correct. You start doubting yourself. You start saying to yourself, "Oh, I'm not doing the right thing." Blah blah blah. All these types of things, right? Okay. But you've really got to be able to differentiate, was it the correct move or was it the incorrect move, right? Because humans inherently want to also find patterns in things, okay? And all the patterns that we tend to look for are short-term patterns, right? The last 10 trades, the last 5 trades, right? If I talk to you about a trade that you did 3 months ago, you've completely forgotten about it, okay? You have no idea about it. Okay. You can only remember the last 5 trades that you did. Okay. And when you're in a losing streak, right, you can be playing the right game according to your trading system, according to, you think you've got the right psychology, the right behavior, all those type of things, right? But then you start doubting yourself. You start trying to find patterns in only 5 trades. Right. And it's destructive. Yep. Okay, Grogs, you want to input?
Yeah, you know I agree with that. I put in the chat last night that I'm out of drawdown. I was in drawdown for a little while, but just stick to the system, and it's the larger sample size that gives you the information, not the short term.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to record everything that you're doing. Yep.
Can I add something?
Go ahead.
That knife edge between the...
You love that saying.
Yeah, because here, all right, I took an error. Now, I went again on the retest.
Yeah, let's do the mouse so the recording can see it.
So I went short here, and like we discussed, it, was maybe an error for the reason of the 200 and 18,000 as well. And then...
But it's also PPI that came out.
Yeah.
That's the error.
Yeah.
And look at the size of the candle.
Yeah.
Right? That's definitely not a short trade.
And then I got stopped, but then I went again on the retest long because of the factors we've discussed.
You knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? That's professional level now, right? Because you recognized your error, right? And then you did something about it, not based on emotion, but based on fact.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
But the final bit of professionalism, which I don't know if I'm there yet, is if I went long here and this dribbled down and stopped me out, would I have gone, oh, fuck, I'm an idiot, why did I go again?
Okay.
Or would I have been able to identify this was still a good trade and a fair bet?
Correct. Well, I would have said it was a fair bet.
Still a fair bet.
Fair bet. Yeah. But if you did get stopped, if this came back down, and what we're talking about to paint the picture clearly, right? He went short here, got stopped, and then he went long here. But if it had come back here and stopped him out, right? What would you do? What would you do if you got stopped out on a second time?
If I got stopped out at that time, I'd leave it for the day.
Correct. 100% correct, right? If you get stopped out on a second time, close the lid, walk away. You
Yeah.
got it wrong. You're not reading it right.
Yeah.
Okay, come back and tomorrow's a new day,
Yeah.
type of thing, right? So 2 stop outs when you've just got it completely wrong. Leave it alone. Yep. Does everybody understand that? Hopefully everybody gets that. That we just sometimes it's okay just not trading. Okay.
And again, the difference between demo and live, you can't really understand that until you with live money, because 2-3 losses on demo, you're
Who
not
cares?
feeling it.
Who cares?
Even if you're playing $50, it's still a trade. It's still a couple beers, or it's still real.
Yeah.
And then that's where tilt is more likely to happen. You know.
Correct.
And it's very easy to then go, you know, it's dribbling, it starts doing this, I go long, I get stopped, it's support here, I'll go long again.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can't go any lower than this, go long here, and then, you know, you're
Yeah. Well.
averaging,
Yeah. Well.
and that's just pure anger. and
That's
revenge.
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't take much
So,
to get to that.
see, the fact that you got this one wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, which was, you didn't think that
Yeah.
clearly there,
yeah.
right? But that you went long on the retest here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was purely technical
Yeah.
and quantitative, I
Yeah.
guess. But if it was out of spite, trying to recover your money,
Mm.
trying to win your ego,
Yeah.
that's the wrong play,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And then, I kind of did the same thing last night, where the second long was an error, but then I realized we're really coming off that 4-hour channel. So then I took that, where Grog,
Here, use the mouse, mate.
yeah. So I took this long here on the arrow,
Yep.
and then,
I mean, let me just... This play here, that was one trade. Just for all the new guys in the room, that's basically one trade. That's 26 points. That's your entire day done. 20 to 30 points in a day, right, is not that bad. Yep.
yeah, well, if you average that over a year, 20 points a day is 5,000 points.
You've worked it out, have you?
Yeah, and then Hugard on his good year, he makes like 3,500 on the day.
Correct, right?
And he's doing 10 trades a day, or
Correct.
he's firing 1,000 bullets.
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's all we should be looking for, lads, is 50 to 100 points a week, right? 20 to 30 points a day. You're going to get some wrong. Two to three stops in a day. Forget about it. You're reading it wrong. Walk away. Right.
And for all the new guys to add, the way trading of looking for the runner, it is that much harder.
Okay, so let me just set that up a little bit better. Okay, Pete, he used to look for these trades which would run. Okay, run for 10R, 5 to 10R,
big runners.
Big runners. Okay, and you've realized that if you're looking for big runners, which would be what, 50 to 100 points?
Yeah, 50. Yeah,
50 points.
50 to 100. Yeah.
Okay. But your win-loss ratio goes right down, and it's hard to deal with. If you get two trades of 15 points, there's 30 points in the day. Done. See you later. Leave the rest of the money on the table for everybody else, right? Don't be greedy, right? Take your 20 to 30 points, walk away. See you later. Because ultimately where we want to get to, and this Tom Hugard does, right? He's trading 200 lots. I'm trading 60, right? I'm 57 lots, right? I'm trading 60 lots. He's trading 200 lots, right? That's where you want to go, because your win-loss ratio is higher, right? So you get more of a pat on the back. It's easier to deal with, right? But if you're looking for the 5, 10 Rs or like 50, 100 points, I mean, you can do it if you want to, but
can.
don't expect your win-loss ratio to be high,
Yeah.
right? And you've got to have a solid psychology, and you're almost got to be like a, Asperger's, right? You've got to have no emotion at all,
Yeah.
right?
And
To do that.
The hardest thing about that is when you're trading for 20, 30 points, if you had 5 losses in a row, there's probably a couple in there that 1 or 2 errors.
Correct.
I think.
Yeah, there's always
Always.
going to be errors. Don't think your trading career is not going to be full of errors
Yeah.
all the time.
But what I'm saying is, if you're doing it the other way, where you're looking for the runner, you could have 10 losses in a row, and you've done the right thing.
And you miss the good one.
You missed a good one, but what I'm saying is, you could have had 10 losses in a row, and you've done the right thing on all 10 trades. But because you're playing a system at a 30% win rate,
Yep.
10 losses in a row, you got to expect. Whereas if you're playing a system at a 60 to 70% win rate, and you've had 10 losses in a row, there probably is something going wrong.
Correct.
So
You get
with the other
feedback.
way-
What you're saying is you get feedback a lot
yeah,
easier.
and the other way, you got to differentiate. Well, I've had 10 losses. Am I doing it wrong? Am I following the system? And that's hard to do after the 10 losses. It's easy to say I'll be able to do it, but
Yeah.
when the 10 losses happen, it's hard to differentiate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so I went this this long in here, literally about there, 24 points it was, and then
Just delete that.
delete. Then this one here, which we've
Oh, you
identified
went long.
as an error because of that channel, but I did see there was 1:1 there on the VWAP too, but obviously bigger time frames. Can you see that? It's clear on the 1 minute.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You can see it, yeah. It's pretty
Yeah,
obvious.
I think this take
Yeah,
that
yeah.
4 hour takes precedence.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's where the
Anyway, and again though, I still identified the error and then took this, 20, 30 points out of that move down. And then I heard Grogs talking about the double bottom.
Yep.
And then
so you fell into that trap.
and I was like, fuck, Grogs knows his shit, so if anyone's gonna listen to it, it's him. If anything, almost more than you,
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know my shit well enough to get absolutely pasted.
but then I was like, well, but I've also double bottom, but it's not really at the end of a trend.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't see. It makes sense, right?
yeah,
That double bottom in there did make sense.
it did make sense because I can argue that is the down move. But then I still took it because
I mean, it's a double bottom for a reason, right? So
yeah,
just think about it. Okay, so Grogs saw this as a DB, right? If we take the fib of this move up, it's 618 type
Yeah.
of thing. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. But you're breaking the neckline straight into all of this, straight into the VWAP, mind
Yeah.
you, right? VWAP takes precedence,
Yeah.
I should say, as
Yeah.
well. VWAP will take precedence. So that's high. The very high ranking is VWAP. But it does make sense what's happened here.
Yeah.
Okay, so to see that that's a double bottom, and the move came up, right? What you You're not the hang on. But what I'm saying is, half the fucking population on the planet had the same play, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just you and Grogs. It's
Yeah.
a lot of people saw it,
Yeah.
right? A lot of traders saw that,
And
right?
that's probably why too there was that 5-6 candles. Of
Yeah, well, that's it.
indecision,
That's
because are
right.
we
So
playing
there was
VWAP
no
or
more
we-
longs sitting in here because of this 4 hour, right?
Yeah.
But there was no more longs, and this is a 5 minute, so you got doji, right? So if I was in this play, right, let's say that I went long here, and I was looking for 1:1, wherever that might be, right? But your stop is just below the bottom, right? I saw doji, I'd probably bring it right up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd start looking for bringing it up at least halfway up, right?
I think that's what Sam did. I was talking to Sam H when
Yeah,
it was happening.
Sam's in
And
the
he said he
room.
was,
Sam, do
yeah,
you
he
want to?
said he was long, and I was assuming it was probably from the neckline, and he had a tight stop on it, so he got knocked out before I even I entered. So he played a really small. I think he played off the neckline, and he's playing a really small stop on it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, once you start getting dojis like that, I'd be very cautious.
Loaded spring.
Yeah, well, it's just loading the spring up, right? Because those dojis there are just simply just saying that there's no buyers left, right? There's nobody wanting to buy it, right? And we can see the reason is over here, right? Simple. I mean, this whole German DAX thing is just completely overcooked. And you know, when it's moving up here, you remember me saying like, what the fuck is going on, right? This thing's absolutely overvalued. Yeah. And we can see I can see this thing coming
17.
all the way back down to 17k.
Yeah.
Down here. I mean, let me just go to the 4 hour. Well, there's a little bit of I should get rid of that. That's not really truthful. That's over, right? But I can't see why this would not. Well, yeah, I just at least back into here somewhere.
17, I wouldn't be surprised.
17.5 at least, but you're saying 17 back to this SR?
Yeah, I mean, look,
Well,
that's volatility's picked up. I'm not saying tomorrow, but
yeah. Well, anything can happen, right?
yeah.
But you know, we've always got an upward bias on indices, right? But
I mean, it's only what 4%, 5%.
I don't look. Yeah,
It's not a big.
I don't really look at it like that.
that,
That's
yeah.
an accounting thing that you've just done. That's your accounting brain coming out, mate. You know, percentage moves. I can't see why. You know, up here, I think it's just completely overvalued at 18.8.
Yeah.
Right. Back into here, 17.5. Yep, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
But indices always have got an upward bias, right? Because you've got their weighted averages, and if something falls out of the index, they don't perform. They fall out. Something comes in, so they have to have inherently an upward bias to them, right?
And they technically add to the winner as well, because as something gets bigger, they have bigger weighting in it.
Correct. That's it. That's right. And it was all of this was this Nvidia story.
Yeah.
Okay? This Nvidia story, all this AI bullshit that's come out, right? And because, you know, German DAX is full of manufacturing, car companies, all that sort of shit, right? You know, everybody's getting hot and throbby about it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's what's pushed it. Yeah. All right. Okay. Have I spoken about everything? What should I talk about?
Have any of your trades this week? You didn't really do, man.
Well, I didn't really
Silence
do too
trades?
much trades because I've had a problem with the copier. Okay, so my copier has been playing up, and my trades really haven't. I haven't really done too much this week. Let's have a look. But I mean, there've been good swings, right?
Yeah.
Been very good swings. Let's talk about that, actually. Let's talk about typically what happens during the day. Okay, so a typical day. This is a good one, right? Okay, so we open up. So I'm talking now about timing of a session timing.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got open here. Open is around here. There we go. No, 5 o'clock.
There.
There's a whoops.
That was a yucky open, remember?
That was a terrible open. Okay, so there's your open. Okay, and typically what it will do is that, you know, this is a bad day, right? And sometimes this happens, right? You open, it just goes sideways for a period of time because it's a battle between bulls and bears. But as soon as it breaks out, remember I said, as soon as we break out of that box, right, it will move, right? But what will tend to happen? It will have a play for the first hour. It'll either go sideways or it will move. Okay. Then by lunchtime, okay, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So by lunchtime, there's the morning move, basically, okay? This one went a little bit longer, and then it turns by after lunch. So there's a morning move, and then there's the evening move or afternoon move, right? Yeah. So they'll turn it all over, okay? Yeah. Same with the US session. It'll do the morning move, and then it'll do the afternoon move, and then it'll do a closing move, right? And that's for the US session, okay? So there's the afternoon, then US comes in here. So it moves up, and then the US comes in and moves it again.
And also news as well, sometimes an hour before US Open,
that's the morning move of the US, right?
Yeah.
That's the morning move of the US. Okay, so there's a morning move, there's a lunchtime break, then there's an afternoon move, and then that's it. And then there's a close, okay? So and we all know what happens in the close, right? So this is not a good example. If we go to ES, then you can see it a lot better, right? You can see here, there's the afternoon move on the US. Here's the afternoon from here up there. And then there's the close. Here's the close, right? 4:45 to close is everyone unloads their positions. Yep. And it'll wipe it all off. And it happens on gold quite a bit as well, right? The day traders, everybody loads their positions on gold during the day. And then as it comes into close, they all unload it, right? Because the reason for that is that they don't want to hold overnight. Right, and the reason for not holding overnight is can somebody tell me why day traders don't want to hold overnight? The main reason. Hang on, not you, because you know the answer. Who wants it? Not you, Greg. Somebody else, because I know you know the answer. Why do we get a big unloading at the end of the day? Why don't they want to hold overnight? Somebody, go.
Is it because of the rates, overnight rates, the LIBOR?
Correct. Not LIBOR, right? Not LIBOR rates. It's because...
LIBOR's different. LIBOR's, they set that at like 3 p.m. in the afternoon or something in Britain. LIBOR is an interest rate, right? So that's got nothing to do with day traders, yeah? What it is because of margins, right? Overnight margins increase like 5-fold. Yeah. Right? Tim's even discovered this the other day on DAX, right? Look at the margins required for futures on DAX overnight rates, because a day trading session on ES, let's say ES, day trading session will be on the CME, but the overnight goes to Globex, right, or ICE, which is another different exchange, right? And they'll charge way more on the margins, okay? That's why, okay? So whenever you come into the end of the session, it's always good to go against it, right? Because everyone's long here, all of these longs, they go, oh, well, we're coming into 4 p.m., let's unload it all. All right. What else should we talk about? Anybody got any questions?
Oh, yes. Hi.
Go. Who we got?
So we talk.
Alex, how are you?
This is Alex.
Yep.
Good, thanks. So we talked about like bad trades, how after like 2 or 3 failed trades in a row, we take a break. What
Correct.
about like winners? If I have like 2, 3 winners, I'm done for the day.
Correct.
I'm happy.
Good question.
That's a very
Happens
good
again
question.
on the next day. Yes, and then on the third day, and I'm like, I'm on a roll. I'm too excited.
Yep.
Any practical advices? What should I do?
Okay. Very good question, man. That's an excellent question. I'm gonna bring up my my favorite little chart.
Euphoria and despair, yeah. That one?
Here we go.
Oh, this one.
Love this
yeah.
one. Gotta love this saying.
Yeah.
Everybody read this?
I read it the other day when I was working, I think.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah, but this thing exactly. Yeah.
This is it's such a very good. This is very good, right? You know, and I spoke to Aaron. Aaron is here the other day about this, right? You know, yeah, go.
Unless you're in the middle, but before every click, just almost close the
Unless
screen.
correct, very good.
Hard thing to do.
Wait, you just I've got 2 hours to fill up here,
Yeah.
mate. You said you went to the point straight away. Okay, all right. So unless you know that you're in this middle section here, okay, do not trade. Okay, so if you're euphoric, you're on a winning streak. You've got, you know, you're thinking about Ferraris, paying off your mortgage. You know, you're taking your kids to Disneyland or whatever it is, right? You shouldn't be trading. Okay, if you're depressed, you're like, you know, you're opening the window on the 3rd floor type of thing, right? Stop trading, right?
Yeah.
Call me if you're ever in this position here, right? You got to call me straight away, right? No, it's real. I mean, I've been there. I've been in this position here, right? My biggest loss was $4 million, right? How do you think I felt, right? I could not get out of bed, right? So if you're either side, if you're depressed or you're euphoric, and this is the thing, right? Nobody taught me this bit, right? You guys are lucky that you're hearing it from me, right? Is that if you're either side of that middle section, right, calm, analytical, process driven, right, don't trade. Stop. Call me, right? I'll give you a pep talk, okay? That's what I'm here for, right? That's why you've all paid me money, okay?
Can I add something to that as well? You know how he asked if you have 2 or 3 losers, stop. If you have 2 or 3 winners, should you keep going or stop on the day?
Yeah.
My one thing that I've sort of discovered about myself is that I think 2 or 3 trades or 4 max is sort of an ideal number, because when I sit down, I am pretty much most days fairly calm and I've had a chance to, you know, forget about yesterday. But
Yeah.
after 2 or 3 trades and being involved, that's when all emotions start coming in.
Yeah.
And then I find after that point, if you keep trading, you're not in the middle because
Correct.
you're stressed, you're worked up, you've played, you've expended your mental.
Correct.
You have a mental energy that you can use per day.
Yep.
And I think after, because see, when you trade, you place a trade, and I'm sure you get it too. The first thing you want to do is pull it off. Nah, I shouldn't be in this.
Correct.
Now,
I fall into that trap a lot.
so you can fight it for 2 or 3 trades, but after 5, 6, or 7, how long can you keep fighting your natural tendencies that you have to fight, if that makes sense?
Correct, right? You've got to really recognize those triggers, right?
Yeah.
You've got to recognize, you know,
It's easier to resist something for an hour than for 5 hours, and be disciplined for 1 hour sitting
Yep.
down than
Yep.
for
and
5 or 6 hours.
all of those emotions increase
more.
exponentially the more money that you're managing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
And-
easy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex. Go.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's a good point. And well, after like maybe three trades, you'll be actually done for the day. You will hit your target.
Well, this
So
is.
you
I
need
mean,
to stop.
here's the expectation, right?
Don't look at it as though that, you know, this is just a job. You're going to the ATM and you're pulling your money out. That's all it is. Okay. When you walk into trading, walk into it like, I'm here and I'm going to look at it over a 6 month or 12-month type of point of view. Okay. There's going to be good periods. There's going to be bad periods, but on an average, I'm trying to get the thing to go up. When I go into it, I'm going to go in, I'm going to take my money and walk away, right? Yep. I'm going to it's like when on your normal job, you go to your job, you do your job, you take your $300-500 a day out of it and you walk away. And then you come back the next day, right? It's a never-ending process, right? And if you look at it like that, so when you've got a winning streak, you've got, today I've made 30 points, the next day I make another 20, and then 30 or whatever. Congratulate yourself, right? But you can't get greedy about it. Don't sit there and go, I'm fucking invincible. I'm going to keep clicking at this bullshit. Because that's when it
start getting 30, 35, 40 points.
Yeah, because then you're going to get into this stage and you're going to start changing your system and you're going to fall over, right? You're going to start losing because you think your ego takes over. Yep. Did we answer your question, Alex?
Well, frankly, partially, yes.
Okay. Well, which part have we not answered?
Examples, like exact examples, like real practical advice. What do you do to get back from euphoria to calm, analytical?
I walk away.
Meditation, breathing practice.
Well,
walk away. Take a walk.
Yeah, well, I walk away. If I'm already up for the day, I close the lid and I go and hang out with my kid, right? Or I go watch TV. I go do something else. I live my life, right? Right. When you look at charts when you look at charts for 20 years, right, you don't want to look at another candlestick. You actually don't want to look at charts anymore, right? It does your head in. Yeah.
Okay. And on the next day, you just
But for all the
new day,
a brand new day, nothing's happened. Yesterday's forgotten about, right? And that's another thing. Okay. When you're on a losing streak, right? When you're losing, or let's say that the day before I've lost 50 points, yep. You got to come into the new day as though nothing's happened.
And get rid of the what ifs in your head.
Yeah,
what if I lose another 50? Yeah. What if I make it back?
Correct. All those what ifs. It's like we've got to change. If anybody's risk averse here, right? You've got to. And I've spoken to you about this before, Pete. Is the market is there? It will give it to you if you want it, right? Right. Okay. So, being preventative about losing, right? We got to be aggressive with winning. Yeah. So it's like, look, every day when you sit down, you got to go, the market's there to give it to me, right? It's here, it's mine, I'm going to take it, right? You got to take the right signal, you got to analyze it, all those sorts of things correctly, right? But you've got to have the attitude, the mindset is that it's going to give me what I want it to give me, right? And I'm not going to be scared about, especially if you're on a losing streak, right? And, losing streaks for me is like 10 grand, right? Right? You can't think about the 10 grand. You've got to forget about it, right? The next day is brand new. It's like a clean slate, right? Because every day is a different story, yeah? Just follow the system, right? And I guess that comes into the next point is like, how do you prepare yourself, prepare yourself before you start trading. And I've said this in one of the recording, the seminars that I've done in the past, is that you've got to have like a little, and it sounds a little bit stupid and,
they talk about it for athletes a lot.
And you see athletes do it.
Yeah.
Have you seen a 100-meter runner? They close their eyes and they visualize themselves winning.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to do the same. This, I'm now on a fucking, you know, I'm up preaching now, right? But trading is a sport. It's sports. And Grogs will back me up on this, right? It is sport, right? You've got to visualize yourself, right? When you sit down in front of the computer, you've got to sit there and you've got to like see all of the trades working for you, right? Soon as that thing hits the Lorentz, right? Bam, you got it, right? Get in, no fucking questions asked. Yep. Okay. Visualize yourself taking 20, 30 points. And when you get the 20, 30 points, you've crossed the finish line, fucking walk away.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. You've got to have that meditation thing going on. And the other thing is like, I know I've stopped doing this because I don't need to do it anymore, but anybody that's new, right? Anybody that's new. Hello. Okay. Anybody that's new, here's all my, where are we? Trades. Here we go. Look at all my trades. I've got thousands of them, right? All of these trades. Like I've got a pain folder, right? All my pain, all the recent trades. Like, you know, you get yourself a folder of all of the trades. So if you're ever in doubt, right? When you're ever like going, I'm not quite right. I'm not here. I'm not, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. You should have a collection of all your winning trades and all your losing trades, right? Thousands. It should be thousands of them, right? Every single trade you take, you should have them in a folder, okay? So that you know what works, what doesn't work, and you could replay in your head what's the ones that works, right? Look at them non-stop. Sit there for 15 minutes and look at all of your winning trades, right? Okay? Yeah. Winning trade. Winning trade, winning trade, winning trade, winning trade, winning trade, winning trade, winning trade. Okay? All of the trades. All of them. Right? Thousands of them. Okay? Yep. Okay? So everybody should be doing that. Yep. And if you're ever like, you've got to replay it over and over and over again in your head. Okay? In front of yourself. Okay? That's why
awesome.
that.
I mean, this sounds great. Thank you.
No problem, and that's why I'm so full on. All of the guys that have come and do one-on-ones with me. That's why I'm you know full on with you. You know about keeping journals and you know, and you sometimes some of you might see that I get a little bit shitty if you haven't done it like precisely, right? If you haven't recorded it correctly, right? I go, what's that? And you know, some guys will go, oh, come on, I don't know, I can't remember, right? Right? You know, that's what the journal's there for, right? It's not for me. I don't give a fuck, right? But it's for you, right? You've got to remember what you've done, right? Because you, like I said, you can only remember the last 5 trades that you did, right? But if you record it correctly, right, you can remember hundreds of them. You go back and replay it. It's like keeping a photo album of your kid. I can't remember my kid when he was a toddler, but I'd go look at the photos. He was cute, right? Okay, same sort of thing. Okay, that's it. All right.
Hey, Richard.
Richard, just to follow on from this exact topic with regards to losing streaks.
Yep.
I'm in a scenario where, for once, I'm actually happy with what I'm doing.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to increase my size in an incremental manner.
Yes.
And
this
so
is
what's
live?
happening
Is this real money?
It's always live, albeit just it's not big money, but it's in relation to whatever the account size I have.
Yep.
It's all ratioed correctly.
Yep.
But I don't do demo. There's no emotional component. So even if you're testing something, just always do live but small money because there's no point. Anyway, what I'm at the point of is for me, I'm trying to increment my lot size, but I'm just getting this choppy sort of sideways, semi-losing streak, partials type approach. But because my lot size increased, it's eroding the profit that I made on the smaller lot size.
Yeah, well, that's expected. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just saying I should just proceed as normal and just
proceed as normal. Yep.
Okay. Just pretend I haven't done anything different.
Correct. But that's logical. It's logical that would happen, right? Okay, if you increase in size and you go into a drawdown, you're going to wipe everything out. That's logical.
Just push through and just
push through, man.
What you've been doing.
Keep an eye too on your point drawdown as well, as opposed to your dollar drawdown.
Correct.
Or your drawdown in R's.
Yeah, my drawdown, like the way I've been trading and protecting and the partials and all that's the same. Nothing's changed, but the numbers look different.
Yeah,
the numbers look different on the
of course,
account, but the mechanics are all the same.
Yeah, well, that's normal, right? So, and that's good. I mean, now you recognise that you're emotionally attached to it, then, don't you? Yep.
Well, I'm not acting upon that. Like, I'm not
you're good.
Well,
that's a very good thing.
But it definitely spikes my interest. I put it to you that way.
Correct, right? So that's the difference between a pro and an amateur, right? We'll always have the emotion. I always have it. Everybody has it, right? Is whether you act on it or not, right? It's whether you react. Okay, if you react, then you're a victim to your own emotional state. Yeah. And this is actually a good segue into another thing that I want to talk about. Okay, let's talk about that.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. This is what here we go. Behavioral mapping, right? This is something that, advanced guys, and I think
we did it.
Did we did it?
Yeah.
Did we do it?
I think we started.
We started it. Did you do anything about it? You kind of stopped.
Yeah, no.
I never saw the outcome of this.
No, we had a few sessions where it was really...
Okay.
Do you remember? And I was... I had to identify triggers.
Correct. Correct.
Theory,
right.
Yeah.
So this is advanced, right? And some of the new guys in the room, you'll probably just be going, what the fuck is this, right? You'll just be going, what is going on, right? But this is advanced, okay? And this is where all of the new guys in the room, we will get to this stage. If we get there, if you hang on long enough, we will get to this stage, okay? Because my job basically is to build you up to, here's technically how you do it. That's the easy part, right? Here's a Lorenz. Wow, great. Anyone can teach you that shit, right? Like you don't need me to teach you. I mean, the system itself is the easy part, okay? Right? Where the hard part comes in is when you got $500,000 under your belt, right? And you're sitting there trying to pull the trigger, right? That's the hard part, okay? Where we want to get to is just think about this, especially Aaron. This is you're close to getting there, mate, right? This is our next step for you, Aaron, right? Is what are those little things that you say to yourself? Do you recognize that you're talking to yourself, right? If you're not recognizing that you're talking to yourself, then maybe you should start listening to what's being said inside your head before you actually click. It's between your brain and that little thing on the mouth, right?
So it's
not like much, there. Yeah. It's not that far. The distance is just up the arm into your head, right?
Rich or poor, just that.
Yeah, right. But what are those type of things that you say? And some guy, you might want to input. Like sometimes I go,
I don't want to do it because the footy's on, and I don't want to go into. Sometimes you go, I don't want to go into a weekend with a loss. I don't want to have a loss hanging over my head for 2 days, right? Or
And I said that to Shannon. Did you see?
No, I didn't see that.
He said something about I didn't take a trade because of I didn't want to give back. Is he here?
Is Shannon in here? I don't think so. No.
Yeah. He said something about I don't want to take a trade because I didn't want to give back the other days, or the rest of the morning. I had one trade in the morning and I didn't take the next one because I didn't want to give back the profit.
Yeah, correct. That's another thing, right?
Or the day before, and I said
so
every trade is an independent event.
Correct. That's right. So every
like
trade is different.
Every coin flip has nothing to do.
And
like
that's
the guy that goes to the roulette table and there's 3 losses in a row, so he thinks his chance of
that's correct,
sort
right?
of.
Well, anybody who goes to a roulette table thinking that there's a pattern that forms is stupid, right? Like the previous spin has a relationship to your future spins, right?
Yeah.
They're all independent.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But anyway, so
and it's a hard thing to do when you're trading, though. Because
human beings want to find patterns in things. Have a look at the clouds, right? Everybody finds a face or an animal in the clouds, yes, right? Because we want to find something, right? We want to find a pattern, and especially when you're under stress and you're trying to navigate a way through it, you're going to try and find a pattern in it,
and
right?
Randomness.
Yeah.
Stress and randomness.
Correct. So anyway, going back to the behavioural mapping, and everybody should do a little table for themselves like this. It's like, what before, during, and after, what are you saying to yourself, right? And just do it out of curiosity. There's no right and wrong answers with this, right? So just
to know what's going on.
The whole idea about this is about writing all of this down. It's like when you say, come on, right? Or fuck this market, it's bullshit, right? Or, it's all against me, or I don't want to take another loss, or I don't want to go into the weekend for XYZ reason with a loss, or I don't want to take another trade because I don't want to give it all back. All of those little things that you say to yourself, right? And what's the action that you perform based on that what little thing that you say in your head, right? The whole premise to why we to doing this and writing it down is to recognize that you're actually doing it, right? Because most people are completely naive and they're completely they don't even recognize that they're doing it, right? I caught myself the other day doing it. I said something to myself and I went, "Fuck! I just did it.
Yeah.
I did what I spoke to myself and convinced myself not to do something, right? Once you start realizing, mate, you get this huge pop in your head, right? It's all about recognition, right? You'll never stop talking about yourself. You'll never stop saying all of these little things, right? What did you say under your breath or out loud? You'll never stop doing that, right? But it's about recognizing that you did it, okay? And what action comes after it, right? Because trading they don't care what you're saying to yourself. The markets don't care about you, right? It
says on TradingView when you open the thing, it's got those little quotes. Have you noticed that?
Never.
When you open the program, it always has like these little quotes. I don't know if it does it on.
I just opened that.
Yeah, and it says there's a few. The market doesn't care about you or your position.
Correct.
How to feel awful, stare at your trade / account all day.
Yeah.
The real flex is not being stressed by a loss.
Yep. Oh, that's good.
They're
good.
They're actually all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you stare at your charts all day, especially when you're in a position, if you stare at every tick, you're going to go insane, right? And I've spoken to you about this before. Is that, if you when you place the trade, set your target, set your stop, and go do something else, don't look at it.
Mm.
Yep. Just forget about it. Move, go look in the fridge or something. Yep. Right. Yep.
I was gonna sort of change the topic.
Yep. Go ahead. Good timing.
One thing that I've noticed very subtly in the past few weeks, and I mentioned it on the Discord, is that when I do get the winner, or when I'm getting wins, it's very subtle. Like we said, these things are subtle.
Yes.
There's almost a form of disbelief in my head that, like, whoa, I actually did it.
Yes.
It actually worked.
Yes.
And that's the thing, I think I said, I don't know if you remember, is that I actually used to get that a lot playing tennis.
Yep.
Where either even during a point where I'd do this really good point and then hit like this clean forehand and I'd be like in admiration.
Yeah.
And then the guy would just get there and then I'd have a sitter and I'd miss it because I was
Still,
in awe of myself.
yeah.
Like, did I actually do that?
Yeah.
So, and again, that comes back to it, believing that the market will give it to you
Yep.
before it happens so that you don't end up in that euphoric state.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Correct.
You got to prepare for the loss and the wins
Before you actually do it.
Yeah.
Correct.
And that's a subtle thing that I notice is that I'm almost in awe that, I actually I pulled the trigger at the right time. I analysed it right. And I got the win.
Yeah.
But in reality, that's all I was supposed to do. So it
Yep.
shouldn't really put me in that euphoric state.
Yeah.
Or in that, it's almost like a disbelief that I could actually, it worked. I got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And again, that comes back to scalping being easier.
Because that turns it, well, if, when you're in that disbelief, I guess you got to, that pushes you into that euphoric state.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, and I had a habit too of squandering leads, especially against good players or better players than me. And again, with tennis, you actually had to win the match as opposed to footy, you can count down the clock.
Yeah.
In tennis, you have to win. So it kind of goes back to this where it's ongoing every day.
Correct.
Whereas, because in the tennis match, you had to get to that finish line, but then there's always the next match. But in that actual match, it was always, you had to have in your head, this is ongoing forever. Because if you have the finish line, then that's when you would choke. Because you win, then you start to get scared.
Yeah.
But if you had in your head and just ongoing, each point's just another trade.
Correct. I mean, that's what that's what all the big tennis players do. It's just one point after another.
And they're very present.
Yeah.
Or they reset. They might get angry, but within 1-2 seconds, you look at Djokovic, man, how calm is he?
Yeah.
And very rarely he, maybe he does get angry here and there.
Well, it's like Andre Agassi. Remember him, right?
Yeah.
He used to get really shitty. He used to get, and then all of a sudden he turned.
Yeah.
It's just one point after the other,
Yeah.
right? It's like every point is a brand new. It's like nothing's happened either side of it, right? Just play it.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the same with trading.
Yeah.
When the signal comes up, just play it, right? Don't think, just play it, right? What happened in the past, what happens in the future, doesn't matter. It's right here, right now.
Yeah.
Play it, yeah? Yeah, that's a good book, actually, that Andre Agassi book.
I've read it like 10 times.
Oh, of course, yeah.
It's an unreal book.
It's a very good book. Yeah. All right. Okay, so guys, anybody got any questions? Alex, Aaron, any new guys?
Yeah, I got one.
Yep, who we got? Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah. So I'm new into the Discord.
Yep.
You're talking about looking at your wins and losses.
Yep.
I tend to look at my wins a lot, but I tend to avoid looking at my losses.
Yeah.
How often would you look at your losses?
Well,
And what do you really think about when you're looking at your losses?
I always look at my losses. Yep. I embrace them just as much as the wins. I think it's...
What do you think about what do you go over when you look
Well,
at
for me, because I'm experienced and I'm been around for a while, I look at them as nothing, right? It's just a part of the game, right? Losses will always happen. It's whether did I manage it correctly. So, and you're always going to doubt yourself. Did I bring in the stop too quickly? Did I put the stop too far away? Did I look at the volatility at the time?
Right.
Have I managed it correctly? All those sorts of things, right? But in the end, it played the way you played it, right? It's reality. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as, I mean, it comes back to the basics of trading is, like as long as your stops are like smaller than your wins, then you should be winning, even on
That's
a 50-50 win-loss ratio. And this is a difficult thing about trading. You have to take losses. Sorry, but you're going to take losses. You can't have a 100% win rate. You can't have a 90%. It's impossible to have a 90% win rate, right? Unless you're you.
No, unless you're
What?
Martin
Gailey. Well, there's a definite way of dusting your entire account if you're going to run Martin Gailey averaging. But but yeah, I mean, it's just part of life, right? You've got to embrace the losses just as much as you do the wins. And this is the thing about Discord. I want everybody to stick up their losses. And thanks, Grogs, for showing us that you lost, right? Everybody should put up their losses just as much as their wins, right? Because we all take losses, and when you manage a loss, if you take like a half R or less than 1 R on your loss, then mate, show us. That's congratulations, right?
Best loser wins.
Yeah, the best loser wins. Yeah. If you add to your position on a big move, but we don't really do big moves on DAX, right? Great, good on you. Yeah. Did I answer the question, Jonathan?
Yeah, that did. Thank you.
Yeah. Or celebrate your losses just as much as you do your wins, as long as you've managed it properly. If you've added to a losing position or you've moved your stop loss away, then I'll slap you on the wrist.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Yeah. If you bring your stop loss in, if you brought your stop loss to the last fractal point, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Example. I'll give you an example of that.
I try to bring my stops to break even once I hit 1R, and then let it
Perfect. Then that's good, because if it's gonna go, it's gonna go. If it doesn't, then you're wrong.
On to the next.
On to the next one, man. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Thanks, Richard.
No worries, mate. Here's an example, right? I mean, we're up at 300 here, 300 handle. But let's say you came in on Lorentz here and you had your stop down here. Let's say you're looking for another touch of 300. Okay, so that's 15 points. You got a 10-point stop. That's 1.5 R. Yep. It moves up. Yep. You bring it into just below the fractal. Let me zoom in on this so everyone can see it. Right. Let's say it moves up, moves up, moves up. You bring it down just below the last fractal. You've got 4-point loss on there. Turns over, knocks you out. Congratulations. You've done well. Right? Because you ended up having a 3.65 R. Yep. On that.
And you didn't go to BE because you got scared of losing those few points. You did the right thing by going to the fractal.
Yeah, fractal, correct. Yeah. But if it moves 3/4 of the way to your target, right? Yeah. I would go BE.
Yeah.
Right. So
I was just about to say that.
If you
know what I mean.
Yeah. So let's do that.
Don't
right.
reward yourself. Like there's a fine line between having the balls to hold and give yourself some room to breathe. But then if you're like halfway or 3/4 of the way to target and you're sitting under the last fractal and you're copying those small losses as opposed to BEs, well, you can improve your system by turning them into BEs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So just a rule of thumb really, right, is if we enter, let's say we enter here on a 50 rule. If let's say that there's, hang on, let me just redo that. Don't look at the pricing on this because I've zoomed in so far, right? If we're going let's say our target's there. If we're 3/4 or half to 3/4 of the way to our target, you should bring it into BE. Basically. Okay? For all the new guys. Now, this
Because the frustration can obviously be is if you bring it into BE, it knocks you out and then continues in its way. All right, but then you analyze your trade on your market timing. Where did you get in? Why did you get in? Can you improve your entry so that the distance between the lowest fractal and your entry point is not so big? I mean, if you get in late, obviously, if you're risk adverse, you're like, oh fuck, my stop's big here because my timing's been poor. And you pull it up to BE, obviously there's going to be a high chance you get knocked out and it's still continuing in your direction.
Correct.
Because your BE might be a quarter of the way up the move.
Well, that's...
You know what I mean? So it's just finding that balance between your market timing and your entry point relative to your stop loss.
Correct. So, and this is what Alex and I spoke about the other day. It's like, you know, where do you get in? Like, let's say that here's your Lorentz on here, right? Okay, so let's exit. Let me get rid of this. Where do we get in? Okay, for me, I get in right on the money. With this candle is a down candle. It's even penetrated. This was bearish beyond at one point. This was bearish beyond Lorentz, right? But my entry on here is bam, even just in front of it, right? That's my entry there. Okay. Even on the down candle, right? So there is a risk that this thing can go straight through it and stop me out, right? But if I'm correct, I've got a really good risk to reward ratio. Okay, I've got the chance of getting the 15 points. Where we don't want to get in is when this candle's turned over, right? Because you got a worse entry. Yep. And if you've still got the same level stop, you can get stopped out on it. Yep. Is that what you were talking about, Greggs?
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
I mean, so like depending on your style of trader, I mean, whether what is it? You get in. You set your level on the mark, whereas other traders may look for confirmation of a reaction at that point.
Yeah.
Because they're less risk adverse. Their entry's going to be poorer as a result, but their win rate may be higher. You know what I mean? They're looking for confirmation. Say they're looking for confirmation of the bounce off the Lorentz. You know what I mean? Whereas
I'm right on it because I'm trusting it more, right?
You're preempting it.
So I mean, look here. Here's an example here, right? Okay, this one. Let's just talk about that. Let's say that I was looking for confirmation of the down candle, and I'm entering there, short.
I was literally about to say that.
Bam! Yeah. I'm out, right? I've got in the worst position, but in here, if I'm going to go on Lorentz on first touch, then I've got the ability to get
a reduced loss.
A much like it's already moving in my favor, so then I'm probably already at break even. Right, so I'm going to get a break even rather than waiting for confirmation and getting a stop. Does that make sense? Okay, so for me, I come in on the money. Okay, on the level. It may run over, right? I mean, here's an example here where if let's say that I came in here and I was looking for that up there, and then I've moved. There's 5. That on this one here, God, I hate this thing. How it does that. I come in on there, it's moved up, right? I'm already at break even, right? Or just a tiny little loss on it, right? Very small loss when it's penetrated. Yep. So yeah, let's come in on the level. That's how I do it. Anyway. If you're waiting for confirmation, then you're probably too late. Yeah. All right. Anybody got any more questions?
I just want to go back to how you deal with losses.
Yep.
Before, from my own experience, and I know this probably isn't a good behavior. What I tend to do, if I cop 3 or 4 losses in a row, I obviously track everything that I do. I screenshot the trades. But I ignore the losses I don't put them into my edge wonk until I hit a winner, because I found in the past that if I'm in the middle of a losing streak and I stare at my losses, it messes with my psyche a bit.
Yeah.
And it's basically, I know that I've got losses in my pocket. I know that I need to face them at some stage. It's almost like I'm putting off the pain.
Yep.
And then when I hit a winner, you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm keen to put the winner into my journal. And then I'll address the losses, and then I'll do my analysis on the losses. Because I think that might be a little bit different if you're just starting out, because you should be analyzing your losses and trying to take the lessons each time. But how I handle it in the middle of a losing streak I try and be a lot more strict. Well, you should always be strict, but I really focus on trying to find the best possible entry to snap the streak, the losing streak that is. And then once I've snapped the losing streak, then I'll go and review the losing trades and have a look at mistakes if I've made any, or whether it's just part of the losses, part of the system. If there are mistakes, I take notes on it, and I keep that in the back of my mind moving forward to avoid the losing streak itself, not necessarily the individual loss. Does that make a bit of sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I think it's a mindset shift, and we spoke about this, is that losing is part of what we do. So it's not, we've got to reframe our thinking that looking at your losers is going to fuck you, right? It's not going to.
Well, I know that it does for me. I know it's a weakness. So I know that if I've lost 5 in a row, if I look at those 5 losses in a row, I get fear. And I'm like, well, fuck me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so what I've done in the last 12 months is I ignore them. I try and shut them out and just focus on finding the next winner. And once I hit the winner, then I address the pain of the losses. Right. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like the pain's been offset because I've already hit a winner to snap the streak.
Yeah. Because you went through a drawdown period, didn't you?
Yeah, so last year I went through quite a long drawdown period. Yeah, and I went through one for about a month.
Yeah.
Obviously, I haven't traded a lot in the last month because I was sick. But prior to me getting sick, I was in drawdown, and it was frustrating me. And if you've been in the chat over the last, say, 6 weeks, you've seen been a number of times where I'm not getting picked up by a point or two. I'm not hitting my target by a point or two. Is turning on me. Like, it just seemed like everything, all those little frustrating aspects were just accumulating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was a battle psychologically. Because what would happen, I would take less. How I react to it now is I take less trades. I used to overtrade. You know what I mean? Because you want to win, you want to make your money back. But when I feel frustrated, or I feel as I said, if I'm in the middle of a drawdown or a losing streak, I become really strict on my trades, which, as I said, you should be anyway. But like to a point where I'm obsessive about it. But even sometimes it can exacerbate the drawdown or exacerbate my mind space, because I will talk myself out of some trades because there's not 7 conversions points. There's only 5. You know what I mean? But realistically, 5 conversion points is more than enough.
5, God, 2 will do enough for me, mate.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean? That's the flip side of it. So it's still like I'm definitely not on top of it. And
well, the thing is like I don't think there is there's no end point to this, right? There's no oh my God, I'm finally on top of this. This is never going to happen to me again. I'm fucking a hero. I'm like God walking on water, right? It's always going to happen. I guess maybe it's just getting used to the fact that it does happen.
I think it's getting used to the process of that chart that you put up before, is through experience and doing this over a longer term. So there's obviously taking a larger sample size of your trading system, your wins and losses, and learning the technical side or the fundamental sides of the markets themselves.
Yeah. But
the real work is on the mental side and recognizing your own euphoric traits, your own depressive traits.
Yeah, correct.
And coming up.
Well, I think what it comes.
I've said this before.
It's recognition.
Trading will expose something, in your behavior. Like you won't have faced it before in any other setting.
I'll tell you what, trading will expose you as a person more than anything else in the world, right?
Yeah.
It will reveal who you really are, right? And what makes you a man, right, is how you deal with that. Yeah. And
how you address your own behavior.
How you address your own behavior. It really makes
you're-
you.
if you're-
Trading will hold a mirror up to yourself, right?
And again, I've been doing this long enough now to recognize that I used to make excuses for my behavior.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's
There's
like,
no
oh, no, you
excuse.
weren't wrong there. Like the classic ones, you weren't wrong there. The market's fucking wrong. Or nah, news butchered you there. And it's like, well, hang on a second. You're just making excuses for your poor decisions.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You need to be able to own your poor decisions and own your own mental state. To go, no, I was tired. I probably shouldn't have been trading, but I wanted to make money. Or I'm euphoric. I cleaned up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to kill it again. And then all of a sudden, I cop a big loss day because of the euphoria from the previous days. I don't stick to my cop 2 losses and step away rule. No, I've been good this week. I'll make this back easily. And then all of a sudden, you wipe off all profit and you're in drawdown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just it's experiencing that. Because I've said this in a couple of the videos that we've done. Like when I first started, like you hear all the stories. The cliches in trading. Like this, this can happen to you, or don't overtrade, or it's too hard. It's really difficult to do this. You need to be able to start your mental game. And your first mindset is like, nah, that's other people. That's not me.
Yeah.
And it's until you go through it and realize that you're not Superman. You're not better than everybody else. You really need to work on your own psyche. I mean, then you realize that you are one of the fish, and to swim with the school, you need to improve your own behaviors.
Correct.
Back.
I mean, like I said before, it's not the trading system's pretty friggin' simple, right? All of the technical analysis, that's the easy part, right? It's you as a human being is the hard part.
Very true.
And the book that everybody should read, 2 books actually, 3. I'll give 3 books for any. 3 books, okay? First one is, I'm going to hold this up to the camera, right, so that everyone can see it. This is for the video, basically, okay? This one, What I Learned Losing $1 Million. You guys can't see this, but I'm holding it up for the video. The second one is Bulletproof Trader. That one, Steve Ward, right? And the third one, probably the best one, I think, is this one is The Mental Game of Trading. This guy wrote this book based on he's a poker player, right? But anyway, they're the 3 books that everybody should read.
What do you think about Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's
100%.
funny. And he's
The
disciplined.
guy's a
tradable.
fucking
They're both
legend,
fantastic.
right? Absolute legend, right? Trading in the Zone, absolutely. But if you want to go the next step after Trading in the Zone, those 3 books.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Grogs. Anything else?
Can I go back to the charts?
You can go back to the charts, yes.
And because you were literally right on it. I got a loss here.
Use the mouse.
I got a loss here,
Yes.
and where are we here?
No, it's this one.
No, I'm saying there
Oh, yep.
is there.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a loss here. I went short on the VWAP retest. And
Well, that's, yep.
that was news.
It's news.
Yeah.
Look at the volatility.
Volatility,
Look at the
yeah.
volatility. It's moved 250 points.
Points, yeah.
I mean,
So
that's enormous.
that is again where I probably didn't
You went,
where we say, stop behind all the brick walls.
Yep.
And here was a mad cluster, 200 level. This
618.
Yeah, 618. It was actually like a few
Right
points
on.
over it. But yeah, pretty much right on.
Yep.
And so, if I was playing the 1:1, yeah, I might have got it or I might have just missed it. But then when it's down here, then obviously you would have bought your stop.
Yeah, well, you
Very
would've-
reduced.
Well, you would have just taken your position out once it started going
Go
sideways.
sideways, yeah, or that, yeah.
But in any either way, right? This is a reaction off the news. Yep. But look, it's touched
Yeah,
touch
yeah.
VWAP there,
Yeah.
VWAP there, VWAP
Yeah.
there, right? So you've got heaps of VWAP plays,
Yeah,
just not that one.
yeah.
Yep.
But one good thing that I did do here is that I recognized not to go again there, or I didn't want to go again because we had this big volatility, and then I thought once I got stopped here, I thought it could just be going up down.
Yep.
So now it's probably just the time to. I wanted to go again there because I wanted to get the loss back, and I didn't want to walk away as a loser.
Yep.
But I did recognize it, that in that instance.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, the volatility in the last week or so has been,
Nice.
a lot
Pretty
bigger.
big.
Yeah,
Very big.
yeah.
Very big.
And almost like if you would, halve your size.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, as when we're trading, you've got to recognize, and I've pointed this out the other day. I think it was to Ash. I think is like when I use this price scale as like a kind of a guide to what the volatility looks like. Okay, so if I've got 20 points between these sections, so 60, 80, right? That's kind of where I want to be, right? And then you can see the size of the candles. If I'm in here, right, and I've got, 10 points or 5 points between, I know the volatility is low, right? But if I need to rescale to 20 points, or even when it comes down to 25 points, right, I know volatility is high. So therefore, you're going to adjust the stop and have the expectation that we've got a higher volatility based on just visually looking at this price scale. Yep. Okay. All right. And you can do a measurement on that. If you want to make it more quantitative, you can do a measurement, right? So you can just put an ATR on there and just take the daily range, or you can take the previous day's range. Some guys would, back in the day when I was years ago, right? 15 years ago, you just take the previous 3 days range and take an ATR on the 3-day average range, and that will be a calculation for what the volatility looks like, and therefore what a coefficient for your on an ATR for your stop, right? Okay. Anyway, all right. Any more questions, guys? Anybody want to put in anything? We've covered a lot.
What time are you guys here? Are you guys here every Saturday or?
No, this is just a one-off, mate.
Cool.
This is a one-off. I usually just post up in announcements when I'm going to do training sessions.
Cool.
All right. Is that Jonathan?
Yes.
Jonathan, can you email me your phone number so I can give you a call?
Yeah, sure. I think. I think I have already. I think I messaged you, but I'll do it again.
Okay, just do it again because it gets lost. I get hundreds of guys calling me during the day. All right, thanks.
Ciao.
Okay, guys, any more questions? I think we've gone through enough.
Yeah, I'll add just one more thing.
Yeah, go.
Is that running the syntax of all the different factors?
Yes, that's why new guys should have it written on a piece of paper in front of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Before I trade, in the morning, I read, the 7-8 things that we look for.
Yep.
Reversal patterns, trend lines, Fibonacci, MAs, VWAP.
Yep.
Channels, candlestick patterns.
Yep.
And the round numbers, the 100 to 300,000 level, because it's very easy to forget one or two of those things in the moment.
Yep.
And running the syntax is something that it does take months, and I think finally I've started getting a bit better at it.
Yep.
But it's not something that is going to be learned in a month.
Correct.
To do it.
100%.
Everything.
Correct, mate.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm good at what I do because I teach people and I talk about it all day, every day for fucking 5-10 years, right? So the thing is like, good question. I would like to ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
How do you, between now and what you were like when you first met me, what's the difference?
Very different.
Very different, right? Because you were completely clueless.
Yeah.
Right? But now, when you look at the chart, you're just naturally running
I've got
through
a
all.
checklist. It's in,
It's
my head.
in your head. It's the
Yeah.
checklist, right? And when I look at the chart, my checklist is going over and over and over and over
Yeah.
again, right?
Even that volatility thing that you said about the candles,
Yep.
I'm always like.
Now you're looking at it.
I'm always looking at it.
And this is the thing about all the new guys, right? We do these sessions every night of the week, or most nights of the week, if the footy's not on, right? But you got to show up.
Yeah.
The more you sit next to me, the better you're going to get, right? It's like your mate, right?
Yeah.
He came for one session and that's it. I've never seen him again,
Yeah.
right? He's never going to be a trader. You are,
Yeah.
right? Because you're here all the time, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's a profession. It's not we're not flipping burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the more you hang around it, it's like, you know, if you hang around 5 millionaires, you're going to become one, or you're likely to become a half a millionaire, right? If you hang around a whole heap of drug addicts, you're probably going to become a drug addict, right? You know, so you know you got to be there, right? And it doesn't have to be me. Go to somebody else. But you got to be there.
Yeah.
Trying to work it out on your own, my God, it will take you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Any more questions? I'm probably going to wrap it up.
Hi, Rich.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me, but
I can hear
I'm
you,
at
Seb.
work.
I can hear you, pal.
I couldn't,
Go.
couldn't talk. Just gonna give you a call maybe next week. So
Yeah.
trying to book a one-on-one.
Yeah, well, just call me. Call me.
Now, I also want to add is you changed the way I actually trade over. I don't know how to explain, but you
Good.
changed a lot.
Great.
Yeah,
Good.
do appreciate it.
Okay, so I would like to take this opportunity. If anybody, just type in Lepus proprietary, Lepus prop. Okay. In here somewhere. Oh, no, I shouldn't do that. All. No. Here.
Actually, I do refer a lot of people to you. Actually, they
Have
might
you?
join you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you
I appreciate that. Guys, can you guys go to here? And if you haven't already, please write me a review, right? Make it nice. If you want to write a review for me here, and there's also a review section in the even here on Trustpilot or here or on Discord. I really appreciate it if you could. It doesn't have to be a lengthy one, just like 1 or 2 lines or just three lines. You know how it's all improved for you, if it's improved for you. Okay, so I really appreciate that if you can do that. Okay, all right. Anything else, guys? Oh, let me just go talk about one more thing while we're all here. Okay, there is somebody on. And everybody should know this already, but there is a scammer that's hanging around on Discord that is impersonating me. Okay, there's a few. Okay, so there's some people. I've had one guy scammed out of 20 grand. Okay, thinking that it's me. Okay, but it's not me, and you can tell by my name. Okay, if it's not spelt, if it's not spelt correctly, here's the 2 spellings here, number 1 and number 2. They're my 2 profile names. Okay, so you can go here, click here, and you can see here. There's the profile name there. If it's not spelt either of those 2 precisely, then it's not me. Let me just say this as well. I will never, ever, ever ask you to fund an account. Okay? I don't deal in crypto, and I will never ask you for money. Okay? So if you get one of these scammers coming through, report them and block them straight away. Okay? If you're in doubt, call me or let me know about it, and I'll step you through it. Okay? Just but be careful. Okay? I will never ask you for money. Okay? All right.
Actually, I did receive one yesterday, but I blocked it. I know it was not you this time.
Yeah, good. Okay, block it straight away. If it's not spelt like that, it's not me. Okay. All right. They're my 2 profiles. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you very much for coming. I'm out of here. I'm going to go play with my boy. Going to kick the footy, and you guys should have a good weekend. I'll put this recording up in the members section so you can rewatch it if you wish. All right. Any more questions? Nope. Yep.
I've got just an idea.
Go.
Potentially. See what you think about it.
Go.
You must be getting pretty sick of running these nightly sessions on your own every single night.
I do.
All right.
Do you want to do one?
No. I've said it a couple of times in these videos. Like, we have these training sessions, or even like some of the evenings where we get lots of people in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? The engagement in the Discord chat itself, like, from my own point of view, I want to see more trades in there. I want to see more people do it, because there's a lot of students now, and there's a lot of people that are actively doing it. And I know some people might not be comfortable doing it yet, depending on where you are in your trading journey. But I would also be interested in seeing other people do their analysis before the open.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So not necessarily like doing it. So if opens at 5, you know what I mean? Like, obviously still want you to do your analysis at 4:45. But even if, you know what I mean, at 5:30 or 5:20 or something, if someone wanted to step up and say, and sit in front of the chart, share their screen and do their analysis for other people to see and to ask questions, because I know it can be daunting, particularly if you're brand new to it. But I find, and I'm sure other people find, like through the one-on-ones with you over the years, obviously I learn a lot from that, because I'm openly talking to you about my analysis. I mean, what I've done, what I'm doing, etc., etc. So I know that for myself.
Let me add something to that, right? For all the new guys, and this is a crazy thing that, you know, a lot of guys will spend money and pay me to, and they get 6 months with me one-on-ones, but nobody actually, a lot of guys just don't do it.
Probably 70% or 80%.
70% of guys don't actually turn up for their one-on-ones, right? And it's critical that you do that, right? If you want to improve, right? Because you might be doing something wrong, and it needs to be pointed out to you, okay?
Like, I wouldn't want it to turn into, say, for example, Pete, you were to do it. Sit down, you got your screen shared, and you're saying, all right, this is what I'm looking at. These are my levels because of this. This is what my potential bias is coming into the open. This is what I'm, at this point in time, what I'm looking for. Like, I wouldn't want it to turn into then like 4 or 5 different people going, oh yeah, but what about this, and what about this, and what about this? It's more like, yes, there'd be a bit of feedback, but it's more, I'm just interested in seeing other people and how they're looking at the market that differs from mine. That's why, even though I've been doing this, and I've been working with you, Richard, now for over 4 years, I mean, I have a very good idea of what you look for and what you're looking at, but I still tune in every night after I've done my own analysis, just to see if I've missed something, or if there's a different take on something that I've missed. I think opening up that pool of people, you know what I mean? Like
so it's a collective thing.
Yeah, so like somebody else jumps in, say Seb jumps in and goes, oh, this is what I'm looking at, and I'll go,
well, I think,
well, I haven't even thought about
think
that.
there's,
you know what I mean?
well, I think a lot, especially for the new guys, they're still unsure of what they're kind of looking at, and they're kind of relying on me to point it out, right?
100%, and I think it should be voluntarily. It's not like, all right, it's you're up tonight or you're up tonight.
Yeah.
Because if someone feels like that would be beneficial for them to do it in front of a bunch of us, you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there because, as I said, me personally, from a selfish point of view, I want to see how other people are looking at the markets too, because that only adds to my own knowledge.
Yeah.
I think, I just want to add on to that. I think that's a really great idea. You know, that's how we get to learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Even if it's no good, even if it's not good analysis, you got Richard there. You got people there to help. You know, that's how you get to learn.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, and also about the one-on-one.
Yep.
I'm just going to use my real account instead of demo, because I don't really trade demo. I just go straight away to my real account.
Well, that's
I trade mini lot or micro lot, and that's why I just end up posting into the.
Okay. Well, that's your risk, mate. That's your risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea actually to use someone to jump on. You know.
We'll try and do that.
going forward.
But I just think it's a good use of the community here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're all here
Maybe
trying to do the same thing.
Maybe 1 or twice a week, people jump in on, something like that. It's pretty good. I don't mind doing it, so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just food for thought.
All right,
I mean, as I said, I'm only saying it from a selfish point of view.
Yep. Yep. We'll think about that. We'll take it offline, and we'll see what we can do. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, guys?
No.
No. All right. Cool. All right, and that's it. Well, I'll post this up later on over the weekend, and then you can rewatch it if you wish to. But thanks everyone for coming, and I'll see you all on Monday. Yeah.
Easy, mate. Talk to you.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Richard.
See ya. Bye bye.